Alright, so this story is a continuation of a story that I told on TikTok. Just as a quick refresher, I was telling everybody that I basically worked with someone who kept on claiming that they were a charge nurse, even though they were hired for the same thing that every other nurse was hired for during this contract. It was just a vaccine clinic. And there were so many of them available. Like, I was working several of them during this time because they were so available, and they would basically just pay you to inject people. So anyways, this girl was legit annoying. Women like her exist everywhere during like all contracts. And she basically caused an issue with a customer who didn't want to sit the allotted amount of time that she had to sit after having gotten her vaccine. So she had to sign a paper that said, I'm leaving, and if anything happens to me, I can't sue you guys. And so the nurse who calls herself the charge nurse, but who wasn't, goes up to her and basically says,
you don't have to sign anything, you can just go, it's your body.
And the woman that was in charge of the whole clinic goes up to her, basically dismisses her, and speaks to the woman separately. And I'm sure she explains to her, like,
you were given false information. You do have to sign that form. You can't be held responsible if you don't want to sign the form. You do have to wait here, but, you know, we do have to document in some fashion that you are leaving before the time, and something might happen to you because we can no longer observe your reaction.
So after she deals with that situation, she comes to see that that fake charge nurse is basically trying to tell me that I am working at the wrong station. And I inform her, I'm working exactly where I'm supposed to be working. You need to leave me alone. It was just like a power trip. Like, she was just having a hard time being denied the power that she was trying to take, that nobody gave to her. And so when the supervisor comes out and basically tells her,
you have to leave now. You have caused an issue that could have turned into a lawsuit. We need to figure out what we're going to do with you.
She tries to turn the whole thing around on me and say that I'm not working at my appropriate post and that she's in charge here, and she doesn't know who's going to be in charge when she's sent home. So the supervisor gives her a reality check and reminds her that she's not in charge, she's never been in charge, and that this could potentially be a suspension. She needs to go. So she leaves, and on her way out, she threatens me by saying, I need to watch my shit. Fast forward, the next couple of days, we're not working with her. And of course, we end up finding out by word of mouth, by other people who work at other locations, that she was just sent to work at another location. Maybe like 3 days after that, because I didn't work every day at that facility. Maybe about 3 days after that, I go out during my lunch break to see that the windows in my car was busted. And I try to dive into this deep investigation so that I can get camera footage, because I was so sure that they were gonna have camera footage and we can just nail her and say, look,
you're fired.
Thank you for joining. Before we get into this continuation of my TikTok story, I wanted to tell you all that I wrote a book. It is on Amazon and it is called Love Never Fails. Make sure you click that link in my little info section so that you can read it and love it. Thank you. Anyways, back to story time. Nail her and say, look, bro, we knew it was you. You thought that you were being slick, but I was SOL because there weren't any cameras. And so she basically, I mean, now that I have no proof, I can't officially say she got away with it, but I feel like she got away with it. So I was complaining to my friend about it, who was working at the site that she was sent to work. And, you know, we were talking about it and she was saying,
damn, that's crazy. Like, I just know it was her, especially right after her threatening you and all this other shit and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
I don't know how much time ends up going by, but that same friend that I was venting to, she calls me one evening and she's like,
I don't know if anybody told you, but her tires were like slashed. And she was in the parking lot on the phone, like yelling and causing a ruckus and making all this noise. I just wanted to know if you knew anything about that.
She was asking me, and I was like, no, I had nothing to do with that. I didn't want to have anything to do with that because I just felt like doing something like that would be too obvious. Like, no, absolutely not. So let's fast forward even further. The contract's over. I'm walking out of a grocery store. She's walking into it. I see her walking towards me. She deliberately chooses not to make eye contact with me. And I know that it's because she knew what she did to my car. She assumed that I did that shit to her car, and she didn't want to say shit to me because then it would immediately incriminate her. So, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for joining. Also, go buy my book. It's on Amazon. It's called Love Never Fails. I just wrote it.
The true mind can weather all the lies and illusions without being lost. The true heart can tough the poison of hatred without being harmed. Since beginningless time, darkness thrives in the void, but always yields to purified light.